In the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful. Well, this week we are going to talk about second language acquisition and universal grammar. Okay, this chapter is the gist of everything, the essence, for all the discussions that we already had. Okay, let us see. Well, this is in this chapter we are going to talk about universal grammar and second language acquisition. So materials in this chapter are so important for you to in fact consider from in details. Okay, well, so first of all I would like to say that this chapter is different from chapter 5. Chapter 5 only talked about language acquisition. It was something like chapter 1. But in this chapter, we are going to talk about language 2, okay? Second language acquisition. Okay, let us see. Okay, the first line of this chapter, as you see, is something like this, goes like this. A large proportion of human race, so would say the majority, okay, speak more than one language. Okay, the majority of people around the globe speak more than one language. Okay? So I'm going to read it once more. A large proportion of the human race, some would say the majority, speak more than one language. Okay? Everybody knows that, for example, in many parts of the world, there are two languages available. Okay? In some other places, actually, where there is one language, they go to learn a second language like English, etc., etc. This chapter talks about this type of bilingualism, okay, and its relation to universal grammar. Okay, line 2 of this page, I suppose it is page 221, talks about somehow two languages, two grammars can coexist within the confines of one mind. So, in one mind, in one brain, actually, it is possible to have two languages, okay, for all human beings, okay? So, line 3 says, is the existence of so many minds with two or more languages at all relevant to universal grammar? Yes or no? If you say it is relevant, we mean that Chomskyan linguistics, which talks about universal grammar, actually talks about the second language as well. Okay? Not only for the first language, chapters 1 to 5, but it is relevant to chapter 6, which talks about the second language. Okay? So, if you want to know, line 4 says something like this. This chapter extends the discussion of universal grammar to second language acquisition, SLA. So, UG is related to SLA, second language acquisition. Okay? Like chapter 5, okay, line 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or line 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Line 6 says, like chapter 5, it does not attempt to give a complete survey of the extensive research in this area, but aims to review the issues and details. Okay, so we have a good look at the important things that are relevant to our discussion. Let us go. If you want to study more about the relationship between universal grammar and second language acquisition, okay, you have to go to other books. One very good book is like this, as the book says, White 2003, 2003. Okay, so the writers say, for a more detailed and comprehensive treatment, readers are referred to White 2003. Okay, so what does it mean? It only means that we are dealing with these things in a very sketchy and important manner. If you want to continue, you have to go to White 2003. Okay, if you actually go down to the end of the book, let me see which page it is. You have to go to page, let's say, yes. Okay, maybe my book doesn't have it. My book doesn't have it, but the name of the book is White 2003, and I'm gonna give it to you later on if you want. The name of the book, that is White 2003. Basically, there are three different types of ideas about language 2 and its relation to universal grammar. I'm going to talk about these things just in the next presentation. So 6.1 talks about the purity of monolingual argument. The idea is that if you have got one language, this is the best. If you have got two languages, it is bad. 6.1. But when you go to page 222, the next page, you see that the writers actually say that if you have got two languages, you are the best. If you have got two languages, you are the best. What does it mean? It means that if you know two languages, well, you have applied one thing, universal grammar, not only to your first language, but also to a second language. So if you have got two languages, it is better than one language. The next page, on page 223, we actually talk about multi-competence view. What is it? In this page, on this page, we say that not only two languages, you can have more than two languages. Let's say 3 languages, 4 languages, multi-competence. One for let's say first language, another for the second language, another still for the third language, etc., etc. If you have got several languages, then this is the best. In the next presentation, I'm going to talk about 6.1, which argues that if you have got one language, it is the best. Okay, let us see what we want to say on that page. Thank you very much.